At exactly 2:13 a.m., the camera caught something no one could explain. A wheelchair, sitting alone in the middle of an abandoned asylum corridor, suddenly began to move. Not pushed, not pulled, just rolling slowly through the darkness. And then, it stopped directly outside room 306. The room where patients once claimed a shadow figure stood over their beds at night, whispering their names before they disappeared. But the worst part wasn't the wheelchair, it was what appeared behind it, for exactly 3 seconds, watching the camera, smiling. Welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're stepping inside one of the most feared abandoned asylums in America, a place so disturbing, even experienced paranormal investigators refuse to stay after dark. For decades, patients inside these walls reported violent hallucinations, invisible voices, and figures standing at the ends of their beds. Some entered with minor anxiety and never left sane again. Officially, the asylum closed after allegations of abuse, mysterious patient deaths, and unexplained disappearances. But locals claim the building was never truly abandoned because something still lives there. And according to the footage you're about to see, it knows when it's being watched. Segment 1. The Wheelchair Hallway. The East Wing was considered the worst section of the asylum. Violent patients were isolated here, locked away from the outside world. Many spent years confined to tiny rooms with barred windows. Former staff members later admitted they could hear screaming echoing through the halls long after patients had been sedated. But one object became infamous among workers: a wheelchair. Old records describe it as belonging to a patient named Eleanor Voss. A woman admitted in 1952 after claiming she could see dead people standing in corners. Doctors diagnosed her with paranoid schizophrenia, but nurses noticed something disturbing. Eleanor was often found speaking to empty hallways, laughing, nodding, as if someone invisible stood beside her wheelchair. Then one night, she vanished. No forced exits, no footprints, no trace of her body. Only the wheelchair remained, facing the wall, slowly rocking on its own. In 2014, a small paranormal team entered the abandoned asylum hoping to document evidence of hauntings. 3 cameras were placed inside the East Wing. At first, nothing happened, just silence, dust, darkness. Then, one of the investigators heard it, a squeaking wheel. Slow, rhythmic, getting closer. The team assumed another investigator was moving equipment, but everyone was accounted for. That's when camera 2 captured something horrifying. The wheelchair, sitting at the far end of the hallway, began rolling forward, very slowly, no strings, no visible movement, just the sound of rusted wheels grinding against cracked tile. The investigators froze, and then the camera microphone recorded a voice, very faint, very close. "Don't let her see you." Seconds later, the wheelchair stopped, directly beneath a flickering light. And behind it, something appeared, a tall black figure, too thin to be human, its head tilted unnaturally to one side, watching, motionless. The footage lasted only 3 seconds before the camera died completely. When investigators replayed the tape later, they noticed something even worse. The figure wasn't facing the wheelchair. It was staring directly into the camera lens, as if it knew someone would eventually watch the footage. Segment 2. Room 306. Room 306 was sealed shut in the final years before the asylum closed. Staff refused to enter after repeated reports of violent paranormal activity. Patients claimed they woke up unable to move, while a dark shape stood at the foot of their beds. Others said they heard breathing beneath the floorboards. One nurse reportedly quit after witnessing a wheelchair moving inside the locked room by itself. In 2017, urban explorers broke into the asylum searching for room 306. Their body cameras recorded everything. As they approached the hallway, their equipment began malfunctioning. Batteries drained instantly. Audio became distorted. One explorer later claimed he felt sudden nausea, like the air itself had become heavier. Then they reached the door. Room 306, covered in scratches, hundreds of them. Long, deep, desperate marks gouged into the metal from the inside. The group debated whether to enter. That's when the whispers started. Quiet at first, almost impossible to hear, then clearer. Open the door. One explorer thought it was a prank. Until everyone realized the voice wasn't coming from the hallway. It was coming from inside the room. The door opened only halfway before jamming. Their flashlights revealed a filthy hospital bed, rotting restraints, and a single wheelchair facing the corner, motionless. The explorers called out. No answer. Then one of them noticed something in the wall mirror, a reflection, standing behind them. But when they turned around, the room was empty, except for the wheelchair, which had somehow rotated toward them. At that exact moment, the camera captured a loud bang from inside the wall, then another, like someone pounding from behind the plaster. The explorers panicked. One dropped his flashlight, and in the darkness, something moved across the floor. Fast, too fast. The footage ends with screaming, violent static, and a final frame showing the wheelchair inches from the camera. No one from the group ever returned to the asylum again. One member reportedly refused to discuss what happened. Another claimed he still hears wheels squeaking outside his apartment at night. Segment 3. The basement tunnels. Beneath the asylum lies a network of forgotten tunnels. Originally built for transporting patients and supplies, they became the site of countless rumors. Former employees claimed bodies were secretly moved through the tunnels after unexplained deaths. Some even believed illegal experiments took place underground. But workers feared one section more than any other, the surgical ward tunnel, because that's where they heard the screaming, every night, long after surgeries ended. A documentary crew entered the tunnels in 2021. They carried infrared cameras, motion sensors, and audio recorders. Within minutes, strange things began happening. Footsteps echoed behind them, but no one was there. One crew member swore he saw a patient gown disappear around a corner. Then came the sound, a wheelchair squeaking through the darkness, slowly approaching. The crew stopped moving. The squeaking continued, closer, closer. Then the infrared camera captured movement, a wheelchair emerging from the darkness, rolling toward them with no one inside. One crew member began backing away in panic. Another whispered, "Something's pushing it." But nothing visible appeared behind the chair. Then suddenly, the wheelchair stopped, and the tunnel went silent. Completely silent. No dripping water, no footsteps, nothing. Then the microphone picked up a whisper, clear as day. "Look behind you." The cameraman turned, and for a fraction of a second, a pale face appeared inches from the lens. Sunken eyes, wide smile, skin stretched tight like paper. The crew ran immediately, but the footage recorded one final sound echoing through the tunnel behind them. Dozens of wheelchair wheels, all moving at once. Final segment, why the asylum closed. Official reports claim the asylum closed due to budget cuts and unsafe conditions. But former employees tell a different story. They describe violent incidents with no explanation. Patients attacking invisible figures. Nurses hearing whispers through intercom systems disconnected years earlier. Wheelchairs moving across locked rooms, and shadows standing in windows long after the building was evacuated. Even now, locals living nearby claim strange lights appear inside the asylum at night. Some hear screaming carried through the trees. Others report seeing figures watching from broken windows. But almost everyone mentions the same thing, a wheelchair, appearing where it shouldn't, waiting in empty hallways, sometimes moving slowly on its own, as if searching for someone. And maybe the most disturbing part is that investigators reviewing old asylum records later discovered something strange. There was never a patient named Eleanor Voss. No admission papers, no photographs, nothing. But her wheelchair still exists, still sitting inside the East Wing, exactly where the footage captured it moving, waiting. So if you ever find yourself near an abandoned asylum and you hear the slow squeak of rusted wheels echoing through the dark, don't follow the sound. And whatever you do, if you see a wheelchair facing the wall, don't wait for it to turn around, because sometimes the things inside these places were never abandoned at all. Subscribe for more terrifying true horror stories, and remember, some footage was never meant to be found.